Hey everybody, this is TreasFlowers here. Hope all is well with you. We are about to get started here on our stream tonight. Hopefully, you all can hear me fine. We are about about a minute and a half out before we start streaming. We're going to be doing a little bit today of Lockheed Martin Prepared 3D in honor of Ace Combat 7 that's coming out next week. So hopefully each of you can see this stream. I'm going to be double checking here, so I want to recheck everything and make sure we're all good. I think we are just about to go live on Twitch and YouTube momentarily, so I just want to wait till all the streams are active. So if you give me another 10-15 seconds here, hopefully we'll have all the streams active and we can start having a good time tonight. We are going to be flying from Charlotte to Miami tonight, so it should be a pretty good flight, hopefully. And if those of you who have not done flight sims before, like I said, in honor of Ace Combat 7 coming out next week, which should be a lot of fun. It is going to be a very, very interesting game that's going to be coming out, I think, on PS4 and Xbox. But I think the good thing about the PS4 on this particular game, on Ace Combat 7, is the fact that it's going to have a VR mode that is supposed to be absolutely fantastic. So hopefully, you will bear with us tonight as we do this flight. And so I'll be talking a little bit about flight simming. This was not going to be my prepared night to stream, so unfortunately, MGC Gamer Valerie unfortunately had to deal with some things. But nevertheless, that's okay. We're still going to have a good time tonight and have some fun. So I am flying the Boeing 737 tonight, and what we're going to do is, because I'm going to give you all kind of the real experience, whether or not you are into flight simming or not, we are actually going to change the settings here a little bit because this is starting us in a flight the engines are already running. So as a result, you don't get the whole pre-flight stuff that goes on, which can be kind of exciting. If you ever sat on a flight before and wonder what the hell are people doing in the cockpit, hopefully we can kind of answer some of those questions. I am not a licensed pilot, but I do enjoy a good sim flight program, and I think as you will see some of the avionics in the 737 cockpit, I think you guys have a good time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here. Um, right here to our display, to our computer systems on the flight, FMC, that we are going to basically change the setup to cold and dark. It says low panel state, and I'm flying again prepared for parts. People pronounce it different ways, but Lockheed Martin's flight sim program that's very similar to Microsoft Flight Simulator, except it's a little bit more stable because it's running off of a 64-bit frame versus 32-bit, and as a result, you get a lot more programs running, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. I'm going to select cold and dark here, and as a result of that, you will see all the panels and all the switches are now, on point here. So I need, hopefully we can get this going, and let's do this up. So I'm outside of Charlotte to give you an idea of what we're looking at outside. I'll just do a little view. There is our Delta aircraft right there. And the one cool thing about any flight sim programs, if you put enough money and time into it, sadly money, you will get some amazing views. I mean, that is a gorgeous view of Charlotte um, International Airport. It is, those of you who have been to Charlotte will probably contest the fact that it is just, I mean, the realism is right there. I mean, obviously, this is Terminal B. I think we're at gate B11. So let's get right to it. So let's get in the cockpit because we have about an hour, 30-minute flight, so I want to make sure we get the passengers on board, and we have some software that'll do that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to flip on the emergency lights here and get some lights onto the aircraft and turn the battery on. And that should get us connected, and then we are going to connect to the auxiliary power outside of the aircraft. And we are going to, let's see here. I'm having flown in a couple weeks here, so just bear with me as I ground connections. Here we go. As we will connect to the ground power, it gives a little bit more juice to get all the aircrafts going. Now I'm not going to do the whole entire flight checklist. Just so you know, I'm going to be doing a little bit, kind of some skipped abbreviated steps here. So I don't want you all thinking that this is all you should be doing. I'm going to check and make sure all my applicable switches are off. Turn this off here. Get some more power up here. Valves on, off, off. That should be off. P bleeds off. There we go. That's what we like to see here. As you see, we have a bunch of lights going on. But the first thing I want to do to get us off and going, there's an extra program, an add-on program called GSX that really is an amazing program that gives you additional controls in your sim. First thing I'm going to do is request refueling, because I don't know. Sometimes with the latest version of GSX, you start off with a plane that doesn't have a lot of fuel. So it lets you know if the fuel is being handled by American Airlines. If you look outside, you will see some fuel trucks that should be hooked up to the aircraft now. There you go. Getting things going. And there you go. You see some fuels going on in there. We're going to go back into the cockpit quickly. And while that's doing that, we are going to try to start the APU up just so we can kind of get more things going. Ground power on. Got to turn ground power on. Turn on some chimes here. And we are going to start the APU right now. And again, there are detailed manuals and guides online. I think a lot of people who deal with Sims or who are intimidated by them don't understand that it is a labor of love. It takes literally days, weeks of work to try to get Sims working correctly. So certainly don't want you all thinking that this is something that you could do right away, or that I magically am some sort of pilot. These sim programs, I mean, the one thing I will say that the sim community is really good about making sure that people really do support you. I mean, it's an amazing, and I'll get into that a little bit later, about all the things that people really do to kind of really help the program, to help those out there who really are into this. I'm going to open some doors here, some of the outside stuff, so some of the crew can, so people can get to work on that. There we go. They're probably waiting. Yeah, fuel truck is in position. It's telling you right there. Payload. I'm going to travel with 80% payload tonight. Probably don't need that much because we're just going over to a quick flight over to Miami. But that being said, let's get these doors open. Equipment doors. Man, a lot of good things start to happening now. So if we go back outside our aircraft, we can take a quick look. Fuel's in position. Everybody is moving. That door should not be open like that. But the program starts off with that cockpit door, assuming that the pilot needs to get in some kind of way. So, but we will get to that momentarily. We will start this APU, should be on now. APU should be on. Go here, just double check something. Just making sure that, yeah, APU is on. Good. So right around this time, a lot of good things can start happening if you are in sim load. That you've got to essentially get your flight into your computer. And what we're going to do is we are going to probably board pretty quickly, because the software that I'm using, GSX, actually will make you wait the amount of time it estimates that you will take to board your aircraft. So we don't want people waiting here. It is a little bit frustrating because sometimes you're waiting 15, 16 minutes to for the program to put on your passengers. But that being said, I mean, it adds to the sim environment and can be tons of fun. So we're just going to request boarding. First thing I'm going to do is operate the jetway because there we go. Let's look outside and you'll see that jetway should start to move. Confirm. And there we go. And again, just gorgeous graphics. Like I said, we will probably post something eventually saying all the various things that I am using. But it is, the graphics are indeed amazing. Perfect. Thank you, MGC Gamer Corey, for joining me today. Really appreciate you hopping on. Okay. Now we're going to essentially, for some strange reason, it's a little glitch in this program. I always find little glitches. We're going to actually have to close and open the door back again because the computer doesn't recognize the fact that that door actually started open. So we're going to close and we're going to open the door back up again. And now we should be able to, now that the door is open, and we also need the back door open as well, we need to essentially get the passengers on. And request boarding. And while that's going on, then we have some fun. So your pilot, as many of you know, those of you in the flight world know that there are tons of things that the pilot's doing, different checks, etc. As I stated earlier, we're not going to go do them all, but we're not going to do a ton of the pre-flight stuff because it will take, we'll be here for probably another 40, 50 minutes. But we are going to certainly quickly program the FMC. That way we can get moving. And here we go. So we're going to just go here and go back to our main menu, FMC. I've done a lot of things beforehand just because I want to kind of expedite this. As I said, I wasn't supposed to be gaming tonight, so I usually enjoy my nights to, there we go. Okay, CLT. It's asking for what airport we're starting off, what gate we are going to be on. B11. Sometimes the gates aren't in the system, but that's okay. See, not in database. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Origin KLC. That's the code for Charlotte. It's asking us. This is essentially programming what route we're taking. I've already got it in the system. I just need to find it. Next page. Hopefully it exported out. CLT to Boston. CLT Miami right there. Execute that route. Saves us a ton of time. We are flight number Delta 933. And runway, we're going to get that from the pilot from now. Now you can kind of see what's cool about this program. I'll let you all kind of look. The way it does it, you can kind of see the passengers come on. I'm going to keep this screen visual just like this. So those are the flight stewardess getting on. It's a really cool program that you can kind of see things moving around you. And as many of you know, this is very similar to the software that you use to train pilots. So very realistic, very realistic. All right, let's call for a runway from air traffic control to see where we're taking off from today. And hopefully you all can hear this. Maybe not. It's probably and you can hear the passengers probably. I'm going to be, if I seem like I'm talking into my instructions to air traffic control. So, and I'm requesting for a straight out departure. It should be giving me a gate. I'm sorry, a runway. So we're taking off at runway 36C center. We're gonna acknowledge. Let me see if I can select another runway. I'm gonna do just. I'm gonna select runway 36 right. she'll give it to me. And the reason why I'm doing 36 right is because for some reason the computer here. There we go. We have it. We're acknowledging. As you see, the passengers are all loading on. We're taking off runway 36 right. And again, it's really just a great program. Can't claim enough about the program. So, activate. Sorry. Should activate, execute. Next page. So, this is basically our flight plan. Tells us we're taking out. We're going to head over to Savannah, go over these waypoints, and then ultimately landing. We've got to come out a certain way. As many of you know, when you take off from a airport, you have a star, which is sorry, a SID, a standard departure. Sorry, that's the wrong button. SIDS. There we go. A SID that basically lets everybody know. You know, that way you guys are all the planes are going in a certain pattern. That way, you know, it's kind of an orchestrated way of coming out. So my SID will be BUCKL6. That's the way we're going to come out. We'll execute that SID, and we are just quickly checking it. It's going to take us a little bit, not too far out of our way. We got to do a little bit of cleanup here, but we'll do that and we'll get on. Maybe we could cut a few steps. As you notice here in my flight menu, it doesn't have me landing yet in Miami because we have to select a star as we get closer to figure out which runway we are getting, which runway we've been authorized to land. So we'll take care of that towards the end of the flight once we get up in the air. Like I said, hopefully you guys have time to join us for part of the flight at least. Either take off or the landing. I like to fly all my flights directly, so I don't really cheat on my flights. So if any of you thought I was going to speed up time, I don't. Again, it takes the fun away from flying, I find. If you just bypass, it's not too much fun to just sit there and do that. The computer gives us a recommended flight level, which is flight level 35,000 feet, so we'll stick with the computer recommendation. I have some weather programs running, so it's telling me already. I know that the winds are 300 out of 333 at 7 knots. So I'm sorry, 6 knots. So that's where I know that I'm putting in this information. So don't think that I just made this up. It's actually giving me real-time weather. So even though I'm flying in the daytime, just because I think it's better views, it's actually giving me real-time information for the flight. So selecting some more information, we're going to take out flaps 5. That's giving our weight. So it's got to do a trim at 6.09. And that is all the takeoff information it needs. These are our various takeoff speeds, V1, VR, V2. So we'll get some fun takeoff speeds there, and we should be good to go. So, passengers are boarding right now, and generally speaking, what's cool about this is you're even seeing the reflection. The graphics are amazing, and for those of you who want to know, I'm using just the NVIDIA 1080 Ti card. I mean, those of you know that the other card, the new one out, the 2080 Ti, I've not tried it, have not heard a lot about it, except it has ray tracing and some other cool features. Have not heard that much about whether or not it's worth the $1,500, but could be. I mean, obviously, the thing about Sims is that you're running a lot of things at the same time. Like, basically, if you're watching this, you're saying this is an add-on airport that has added extra graphics and textures. This is GSX, which is a ground program that's taking care of all the ground features from, you know, pushback, which we'll get in a minute, to essentially everything boarding the aircraft. If we had time, we would go ahead and even do dining services. You have a weather program. You have even textures that even the runway that you're getting, and the details even on the ground. That's even coming from the program. So again, these are all great, just wonderful things to have going. And right now, this is the part of the program that's not as exciting. Is the part of waiting for the passengers to board because you really can't do a ton of stuff. I mean, I'm going to start setting um, the flight directors on auto trim, our initial altitude. I believe I'm going to, because I know this area pretty much, will come out at 3,000. Then we'll kind of work our way up from there. Takeoff speed is what you said, 151. Usually kind of keep it around 160. Then I'll kind of kick it up from there. Go ahead and turn on our lights, taxi lights on. That way we can get logo on, give us cool. That way we can kind of keep the process going. All right. So this stick you can actually go up and down, which I think is cool because sometimes it gets in the way of some of the switches that you want. TCAS off.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
There we go. And all the various things. Now our engines are still off, and that's important because the ground program will not put your engines on until the ground program will not allow you to board passengers with your engines on. So the engines off is a very important state for this particular program. I don't know. I've not talked to enough pilots to know if that's whether or not that's standard procedure or not. But sometimes apparently the computer has made this a full flight. We have 40 out of 139. But there's still stuff for us that we're doing in addition to that, which I will show you. So right here, you see the HUD on the screen that you can see kind of the route that we're anticipating taking. So we're going to fly out runway 36R, 36 right, hook around, right, and then we basically start going on our assigned route. Does not look like there's probably a lot of traffic out there. We can take another view, run out. I will close this menu so we can take a little, I always like to take a little view. And by the way, some of you see these realistic airlines flying. That is another software called Ultimate Traffic Live. So that's giving you a sense of what Charlotte Airport would be looking like today, probably midday, on a midwinter day, on a day like that, the traffic out of the airport. Charlotte is a American hub. It used to be a U.S. Air hub, as you know, but now U.S. Air and American are the same airline. So that's why you see a ton of American Airlines in the gates, and that's probably realistic what you're saying. And of course, if you look way back in the background there, not too far in the background, you can actually see the city of Charlotte, and that's actually true. I had the pleasure of going years ago during a political convention, and I've been to Charlotte a few times, and had the pleasure of seeing Air Force One with President Obama, and actually Air Force Two with Vice President Biden at the time, flying in and fly out of that airport. And it was if you ever go online, you can see some actually pretty gorgeous photos of that takeoff and departure when the President and Vice President were flying in for their, at the time, then President and then Vice President were flying in for the convention. So you don't have to be just a sim fanatic to like just pretty photos. And so one of the great things about this program is that you can take some amazing, amazing photos with this program. So it is a wonderful, wonderful program. And so I'm going to begin some checks here, and you guys can listen in. Again, nothing made. There's a program called FS to Crew, and what that program does is essentially gives you a co-pilot. I'm not sure if it's going to work because I'm live streaming, but we're going to give it a shot here. And that is the box that just got activated right there. And sometimes your co-pilot can be very helpful. You have a lot of switches to do, and you can have him do a lot of different things. So that's kind of fun. You just have to remember to put it on mute. But I like it because it has these secondary menus, and you can welcome your passengers. Let's see, I'll show you. It is right there, departure, brief, sorry, the PA. So these are all pre-programmed welcome. So once we close the door, if you ever wondered if they were pre-programmed, apparently they are. Some pilots do it live. Some pilots just hit a button. Um, Welcome, departure delay, telling the crew your takeoff sequence, all that good stuff. So that's kind of kind of fun. Um, Worth the money, I think, to kind of add to the experience. Um, so this is actually I can call for the co-pilot to do a pre-flight checklist. So pre-flight checklist. Let me see if it's going to work. Pre-flight checklist. So as I suspected, it's because we're streaming. It's not allowing us to call up the to do anything. But this is a really neat program because you could actually, if you do it correctly, you can actually the co-pilot will actually do a lot of the work for you. Won't necessarily fly the plane, but gives you some really cool things to do. So we won't use that program today, but um, I can't stress this enough. This flight to crew program, when it's working properly, again, I'll try one more time. Um, Pre-flight checklist. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because we are streaming, and the mic is being dedicated to streaming. So, but that's okay. We can still use certain features of it to basically use the public address system, etc. So we're going to get an update in a second of how of the size of the crew. I'm going to do some other pre-flight checklists since I don't have the co-pilot here. So I'm going to start turning some switches down. I'm going to look and see if the baggage outside has been put away. Check and see. Looks like all the cargo. So we can probably close the cargo doors. Unfortunately, you all missed that, but this guy right here, this baggage handler, they actually deliver all the bags, and so that's why those doors are open. Here, I'll move this out of the way. I don't know why this flight menu keeps popping up. Let me just close it up. Make it smaller. Move it off to the side there. But these cargo doors right here, baggage doors, open up. There we go. That's a better view. And again, just gorgeous views. I mean, if you have a 1080 Ti card or whatever, the views that you will take with this aircraft are spectacular. Okay, let's make sure we have everything set here. All right, I'm going through my own pre-flight checklist, so you all won't have to waste too much time. As you see, a lot of the switches are still yellow, which, I mean, if they're yellow, it means they got to be turned on, and we got to deal with them before takeoff. That's why they're yellow. If they're green, you can imagine, or blue, that means you're clear. So, essentially, we're going to have to make sure that we turn on all this before we before we take off, and before we start our. And really, we can only do it once we start our engine to give enough power to the aircraft to basically get all these features and functions and avionics working. So we're in a little holding pattern here, but hopefully not too much longer as we get those engines started. And then what we're going to do is we could take another view from the tower, see kind of parking lot in this program, various views. And I'm using Chase Plane, which is another software package to just kind of give you different views. I like the lot and the flyby. Just kind of just give you, I mean, again, this is, like I said, we're at B11, and that's actually the view from B11. And then there's amazing, and then the top-down view is almost like a satellite image of the different features of the airport. Now, you can see kind of on the far left side of the screen, there's kind of a break, and that's the texturing of the program. So, essentially, when you buy an airport, the airport essentially they go so many miles out through the airport with kind of fine detail, and then your computer kind of fills in through Orbix or whatever your software is to kind of clear up the generic. I want to say give it generic stuff, but kind of puts in kind of default. So sometimes when you see this view, you can see kind of the area of the airport that was done by by the airport software program, very detailed, high definition. And then you can see the part where once I fly into this area, if I was going out that way, once you get that area, you're going to start getting more of some renderings from your computer on just kind of not as neat graphics, but still pretty good graphics, but just of course going to be as detailed as the airport is right now. All right. Once we should be getting very close to getting done. Let me close these cargo doors out. Let's close these doors up. Menu. Next page. Close the equipment hat, and we'll close the cargo doors. It looks like they are done. Obviously, we can't return the jetway yet because that would mean that we could not load the rest of our passengers, which would be a bad thing. So, as we're waiting on this to finish up, hopefully it should not be but a few more minutes, and then we're going to turn the engines on and get ready for pushback. We're very excited about Ace Combat 7, so that's why dedicating this stream to flight simming. This is obviously not console. This is computer streaming, computer simming, excuse me. But I believe that Ace Combat 7 with VR is really pushing the envelope. And if you look at the images, I think it's coming out January 18th for those of you out there who enjoy combat sims. We haven't had a good combat sim on console or PC in quite some time, so I think a lot of gamers are really looking at Ace Combat 7 and hoping that it's going to be a worthy endeavor. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm sure many of you are as well. So hopefully it'll much success. I'm looking for the VR mode because I think most people, like myself, when you get a lot of motion in VR, it can be very nauseous,
Good evening,
and
ma'am.
I am not a fan
I'm
of
doing good.
getting sick playing games. So, as a result, hopefully, they've done some good jobs with this particular VR, and it'll look good. I mean, it certainly looks good. All the reviews are great. It certainly looks wonderful. So I believe it's going to be an amazing program. Um, we'll see. We'll see about that. But it sounds like I mean, I got a sense that it's going to be just a good program, and I'm kind of excited for it. So we'll see. Hopefully, it won't be too bad. Um, yeah, it should be pretty good. Pretty good. So what you don't see, I'm actually flicking my screen because there are a couple things that as you flight sim, you'll find out there's a program, a website called skyvector.com, which has this really cool map that really kind of shows you kind of the flight path that you'll be taking. And I have it up on the screen. But for our purposes, what it also does, it enables us to essentially, for lack of a better word, it allows us to also look at the runways that we're taking off and making some decisions about what kind of settings that we need on our runway. Each airport is a little bit different, so you have to have certain headings and certain settings. So I'm actually looking up for 36R. It's telling me that my heading needs to be 356 true or 3 degrees. It's also telling me the length of the runway, which is about 8,677 feet, which is kind of letting me know that it's not a super long takeoff. That's what's important about that feature. Um, so I always like to make sure that I know what's going on there. And that's weird. Unfortunately, sometimes the headings are off just a little bit, and they adjust every now and then. But I'm going to keep my heading at 5 degrees because I think you can see a little bit better. All right, how are we doing on? Oh, we only have 19 more passengers left. And so for those of you out there saying this is taking forever, that's how I feel when you guys take all day putting on your carry-on bags. So this is exactly what probably a pilot really feels when everybody's trying to shove 12 carry-on bags when they know they've only been authorized for two into their into the overhead compartment. So that's exactly what we're all going through, that we end up having to sit down and wait until all that is done. So just a little, just a little reminder to everybody. That's what we're dealing with on
Good
with
evening,
the
ma'am.
carry-ons.
I'm doing good.
So again, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. I know this is was not our scheduled stream that we want to do tonight, but certainly we are having a fun time with it as well. And I know some comments have come in. Unfortunately, I it is hard to do this prep work without seeing it. So hopefully we should have it should be a good time, and we will see what's going on. I want to give a shout out to also to Mark, MGC Gamer Mark, yesterday, who did a really great job on Call of Duty he and Fortnite. That is his forte. So kudos to him for really doing that. He is an expert in that area, so I can certainly say that he is. So on those nights, if you're interested in those games, certainly look for MGC Gamer Mark. Also MGC Gamer Valerie, who could not make it tonight. Um, she also she also does Fortnite and Call of Duty as well. So they those are both again, we try to vary it up. So hopefully those of you who are watching us understand that we're not want to be one dimensional here at MGC. We want to actually try to show you guys all aspects of the game and all different types of games as well, so you can figure out what you want to do. And again, there's no secret sauce to any. I know I don't like when people say, "Oh, you need to be playing Red Dead Redemption now because that's the hot game," or "You need to play Fortnite because it's the hot game," or Call of Duty or Battlefield 5. Look, look, make no bones about it. The big games will be there at all times. There's no doubt about it. The question is that if you have a passion for something else, I mean, don't feel bad about it. I mean, that's not a horrible thing to do. I think there's many good gamers that just enjoy playing the good game, and so don't feel like you have to. If you want to do flight sims, I mean, I do flight sim at least once every other week, probably more realistically once a week, and it's fun to me, right? It's relaxing after a long day's work. You can look at it and you get such a feeling of accomplishment an hour later when you're landing a plane. It is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. So don't feel bad. Don't feel like you have to stick to the latest, the juiciest games out there. No, just have a good time, and there is no right or wrong. It's just kind of fun. So that's what we're gonna say about that. And so hopefully, like you said, if you like retro games, do retro games. If you like baseball, I do that every now and then because I like the show is one of the best games out there. I enjoy that. So there is no secret sauce to it, and just have a good time. That's the key thing. But we'll get more into flight simming once we get off the ground. We're very close to takeoff here, or I should say taxing. I don't think this is gonna be a long wait. We're gonna probably save some time in the air. Might go over a little bit over in our stream today. Looking at it's 9:03 now. Probably touch down closer to 10:20, depending if we get a good wind behind us. I'm looking at the weather program right now. Don't see much of a wind, so might be pure. I don't expect we'll have much of a hold as well, but we'll go. Those of you who can stick around and have a little bit of fun, we'll make that happen. I also just so you know the equipment that I'm using, and I think it's always very important when people talk about their equipment.
Good
I
evening, ma'am.
have a stick, a throttle, and um, pedals as well. So I don't want people thinking that not knowing what I'm doing here. So I think those are kind of certainly the stick and the throttle is essential. Not a ton of money. I think they come in most of them come in a combo package. I think Logitech owns at least the X52 now, which is a common package. So you can get that for about 100 and I think it's now a little bit over $100, not too much over $100. The pedals are nice, not as necessary, of course, but certainly headsets are necessary. But you probably already own a pair of those because you have to essentially get the ambient or the plane sound comes out of your speakers, and then your control comes out. So we are boarding is now complete. I'm sorry, and your flight controls or air traffic control comes out of your headset. So as I just stated, boarding is complete. We are going to close these doors and get out of here. And just to give you a little visual, you can the doors are closed right there, and then we're going to operate that jetway and get that jetway out of here as well. I don't know why it's telling me refueling. That's not what I ordered, so I want to cancel that fuel truck. We are not going to. We are going to not do that. I'm hoping that it's going to allow us to cancel that. I don't know why it just came up and did that. We're undocking that jetway, and we are going to prepare for pushback. Hopefully we don't hit the fuel truck, because the game is that sensitive. You hit a fuel truck, guess what? Not great things happen. That sucks because it's now somehow it hit that refueling, and it's not allowing us. It's waiting for this fuel truck, which we don't need, um, because we are already full. Sometimes about the GSX menu, it can be a little quirky. Let's see if we can see where that fuel truck's coming in. There it is right there. There's the fuel truck. Right there. I'm gonna, don't know why it's gonna. We are already full. So we will have to select that same refueling level. Hopefully, is he gone or is he getting in a position? Oh, refueling completed. Okay, good. Okay. All right, thank goodness. All right, so we are now getting ready to, let's see here. We need nose right, tail left, right? Nose right, tail left. We want to start our engine before pushback, so we're about to start our engine, and things are about to get a little fun here. Let's do it up. We are about to, we are engine.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
They're ready, getting ready for pushback there. And we are waiting. Perfect. Here we go. There we go. So we just started. We just started one of our engines. This is perfect. Nice. Okay. And we're going to start the other engine. Uh, let's see here. Sometimes this one acts kind of funky. Getting some nice power. There we go. Come on. gonna pull this engine number up here. Engine number 2 is started. That's gonna go on auto, 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 auto. Now we are essentially going to be turning things on to get us out of here. On. Anti-ice on. Engine anti-ice on. Everything looks on there. We're going to test our cockpit voice recorder. Hold that for 5 seconds. And let's see here. It appears that we are getting, that looks good. Everything looks good. I'm just double checking. We don't rush this step because usually it's this step where mistakes are made. Going up top, making sure everything up top is on. Working, everything's aligned. We're looking good. Usually we'd have a co-pilot in there. All right, here we go. So now we're gonna go and allow pushback to begin. We could also push back from the computer, from the program, but we're doing it from another program. We're gonna close all the doors and release the ground connections. There we go. We're setting the parking brakes, and guys, we'll get a nice little view of the pushback.
Locking gear.
Locking gear.
Departure check completed. Bypass bin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Those arrows down there are just the taxi.
Release parking brakes.
Sorry, it's telling me left my parking. There we go.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
There we go. Now, essentially, what I like to do is have the menu on because sometimes you will get it, like you have to have the stop, abort, pushback, or stop here because for some reason it doesn't pick up on ground vehicles sometimes and they will crash right into you, but it looks like today looks like everything's looking good today. Oh, there's some ground vehicles. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's a glitch in the program. It's a nice long pushback. And usually at this point we do our little welcome message, as you know, if you've obviously flown.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, on behalf of the flight crew and staff that we want to welcome you aboard the aircraft and thank you for choosing us for your flight and travel period. If there's anything that we can do to make your flight more enjoyable, please ask the cabin crew. Thank you.
I'm just gonna stop pushback right there.
Set parking brakes.
I tried to put the parking brakes on and I told me to turn it off. Very sensitive program. Brakes are on. Give you guys a little outside view of what's going on right there. A bird's eye view. I love it because it even has little two pilots in the cockpit.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Thank you very much. And I like to just double check with the program. And I will also do this ground connection here. Ground. I've got to, and it makes you make sure your radio is on ground. And before it comes up, disconnect.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Please disconnect
Left is
the
clear.
GPU and air.
Right is clear.
Roger. Disconnected the GPU and air.
Left is clear and right clear. All right, we're about to have some fun right now. So close these windows up, and we're gonna head over to runway 36. Have a good trip. You should hear a little bit. Our parking brake is off. Let's do it. Now, you really have to watch your speed coming out. And I actually like to do a different view. I like this view better coming out. It's a little dizzying, but it allows you to see more of the, get a nicer view, I think. Coming out of Charlotte here again. We're off to Miami. Hopefully some of you will still be up when we get to Miami tonight. Cut that turn a little bit sharper than I probably should. And then it's easier to sometimes stop. I just, with my pedals. And then I'm going to try to do a little soft turn. And it is a lot harder than you actually think. So many of you are like, why isn't he going really slow? Because it is not an easy thing to do.
Approaching. 2, 3.
So we're going to go out just a little bit here. Get a better view here. That's a better view. And if you think you're wheeling it too fast, it's called the brake. That. Get the brakes on and gotta get yourself repositioned. Repositioned out of here. Again, just gonna do a quick little turn view so you all can see the gorgeous view you get on the way out. Then I'm going to probably go back into cockpit mode before I
On taxiway. On taxiway.
see it starts telling you to slow down because I'm going way too fast. Trying to get out there. What I do like about it is the fact that you see that plane coming in for landing ahead of us. That is really neat. Probably get a nice view of that. It's like a Boeing 737 coming in for a nice crisp landing. Trying to do a quick peek over there so you all can see it landing. Just beautiful shots, like I said. Just again, there's nothing quite like, you know, people love war games or whatever, but if you really get a good flight sim and you take the time and deal with the frustrations sometimes with the programs not working and playing nice together, but once it all works, it is a gorgeous thing to take part of. We are going to slow it down just a little bit here. Problem is my pedals are off center, so if you see me doing some jerking motion, it's because somebody moved my pedals. There we go. Now we're going to be at 26R. There we go. We are almost right on the line. How's that look from outside? Just to give you guys a perspective. There we are, 26R. Looking back, and we're going to take off that way. Let's go ahead and call air traffic control. Let them know we're ready to rock and roll. Turn off progressive. Tower. So it's telling us that we have a plane on coming in. So Charlotte essentially, so we have to make sure that air traffic control knows that we are essentially holding short here. There's a bombardier. I don't know if you all heard that bombardier on final. There's probably a couple planes on final. There it comes right there. Whoa, that's a bumpy landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we are number one for the run.
Telling the flight and the crew to take their seats. We are cleared for takeoff. So we're going to get out there.
Approaching. 3, 6, right.
We are coming on.
On runway. 3, 6, right.
We are on runway right. Flaps 5 were checked. Trim is 609, which I should have done earlier, but I'm glad I noticed it. Otherwise, we would have had a very interesting flight. 606, as close as I can get. We're making sure oxygen, everything is good. Circ fan, auto, on. Up, see? Those electric lights come off. We are double checking. We're all good to go. We're taking off. And let's do it.
feet remaining. Caution, short runway, short runway.
Got a little bumpiness here.
V1. Rotate. V2.
We're coming up. Flaps up. Just giving you guys an idea what that view looks like. We are turning out. Just going to give you an idea what that looks like right there. And the city side over there. A little cloudy day over there. We are already at 3,000 feet, so we're going to lift a little bit up. Going to bring her up to about 5,000 feet.
Traffic. Traffic.
Try to do this outside so you all get a better view of what's going on. Airports should be back over there. And I'm going to be a little bit quiet here until I get on route. See if we can get you guys some nicer views. Unfortunately, it must be foggy in Charlotte right now. Hopefully that does it. I knew it was a little bit cloudy, but did not know it was that much. Let's go back outside just for a second so you guys can enjoy. There's the stadium you can see back there. We are got a good little speed going. Nice speed. We're gonna go up to, I believe, 11,000. There's a plane up there. And just look at the sky. I mean, this is some of the they're telling me about the traffic. Making sure I can see that plane was up there. And just the detail approaches. Sorry if I'm cutting in and out because I'm getting a bunch of controls from air traffic control telling me what to do. So I just want to make sure I can hear those controls. So if you hear me stop mid-sentence, because it's down there, and you can follow that menu down there. And every time air traffic control tells me something, it's going to show up on that menu. And that's, I love this when it starts to do these kind of, it's a little bit of turbulence here. I'm going to try to do just a nudge. So we go into, it does not appear to be bad weather, it just appears to be cloudy weather. We're about to turn on out. Yeah, we're about to get, we should get some good views once we get out of this fog here. So we're not quite as high as it wants us to be. So we're going to try to get on up here. Got the window. Love this view over here. So I'm leaving the Charlotte airspace right now and heading essentially into, I could either, have the flight follow me, or I could just do some free flights in, because I've already have the plan in. There we go. And I'm going to basically, I'm going into Atlanta now. Well, to the Atlanta, I should say the Atlanta area, tower area. So Atlanta Tower will be dealing with our flight. As we request flight following. And there we go. Let's just go outside, do a little quick view. And that's why we do it. That is why we do it. You want to say, why do you take the time to learn? Because that, I mean, it's amazing. No views are kind of the same. I mean, it really does a good job. It takes a little second sometimes when it's rendering heavy graphics like this because I'm pretty low. And I have a pretty nice high-end computer, but generally speaking, it gives you pretty smooth graphics. Interesting to see the new 2080 Ti card gives you better graphics. You can even see details of, golf courses and the land. I mean, just really a good. I like this more fluid picture because it gives more the weather. Excuse me. So if you're not a big fan of shooter games, there's games for everybody. I try to tell everyone there's something for everybody out there. We're supposed to be at 16,000 feet. At their next. And the thing is, vertical speed, obviously that's your climb, and then the Mach is how fast you're going. It's a kind of a trade-off because, again, you don't want to go too steep because obviously not just because of stall, but it slows down it'll slow you down. So you got to just kind of, you're really just kind of balancing that out until you get to your top of climb. We're going to tune into the Atlanta Center here. Make sure we're going to check in. Make sure they know we're on point. tell my we are not having a co-pilot. I don't think I need a commands here. And sometimes you could just enjoy the view. You could just look out and enjoy the view. So we're gonna get up to 27,000. Remember, our cruise altitude is 35,000, so it's up to 27,000 feet. And we're about to head into the Jacksonville area, tower area, so we'll be getting our commands from Jacksonville as we get on over into Miami. And the reason why I like this particular flight is just from Charlotte to Miami, most of the time you're going to get some water shots, some good shots. Again, because I'm using active weather, because I like to fly in real-time weather conditions, you're getting more of a cloudier view, but usually this view will be crystal clear and you can see everything out. But like, those of you who fly know sometimes you don't get all the views you want. And some days you're going to get cloudy days. But that's okay. That's okay. I did not have time to turn off my runway lights. Continuous. Logos on. We're good there. We have plenty of time to prepare for landing. So I'll kind of go over those details pretty soon. There we go. Just about to click over to standard. Barometric pressure. Click that over. And for a few minutes, you guys could just enjoy the view. Flight sim. Again, this is Prepared 3D, Lockheed Martin's program. A little bit more stable than Microsoft FSX. Running multiple programs, as I stated, I was going to go over that when I have a little bit of time. Heading up to 27,000 feet, then eventually up to 35,000 feet. Running GSX for my ground. Bunch of add-in airports, and again, for those of you not familiar with flight sims, you have to essentially buy your various airports. That's how they get a little bit of extra money. There's a lot of freeware out there. I like some freeware airports, just a little bit more knowledge about how to install them. Sometimes you get a little bit more conflicts, and if you get a conflict for a payware airport, you can yell at the developer, and a freeware, you kind of have to just kind of figure it out, but there's a lot of forums out there. Running the Orbix package, which gives you some vectoring, some renderings, and also some details. Also, chase plane for the visuals on the camera. And chase plane I love because you can come out pretty far. Like that. And then come in pretty good. Get a nice view there. Also running active sky for weather. So you'll see a bar every now and then crop up saying it's loading a new weather system. Which is also very, very good. And Rex, which gives you kind of details on textures of the tarmac on the runway. It's a texture. Rex texture is actually what it is. Very detailed texturing program. How the water is going to look, how the images are going to look when they reflect off. So that's another great package to always have on. So again, we're probably about 7 or 8 packages running with my sim. And again, that's why, usually you have to have a really good graphics card and a nice processor because a lot of detail. I mean, imagine like the bridges right there. You can look at the bridges over the. Sorry, I'll see if I can. Like you can see the bridges over there. Like that's just detailed mapping that's coming into the program and textures and. So we're flying, I think this is probably over Jacksonville's right now is what we're doing. So the computer, you see how it takes it a little second to spool all that data, but that's what, it's giving you real time of where you're located and trying to figure out, give you graphics to kind of match that image. So again, very excited about the fact that Ace Combat 7 is coming out next week, because hopefully, again, not saying that they're going to be doing this level of detailed imaging because of the fact that it's more of a combat sim program, but again, this is kind of the standard. There's another flight sim called X-Plane that came out last year that is just as good. Different. I just like if you use the Microsoft program, FSX is a little bit better, but X-Plane is just as good. And it's another great program to have. So it's all what you feel comfortable with, and again, I can move my thing up and down. This is because of the chase plane software, not. And this plane itself is a PMDG plane that was purchased, so it doesn't come standard with the flight package. You actually have to go out and purchase it. So all in all, somebody once asked me how much is about this sim. I think you're going to expect like the package itself, the software is like $199. But probably after all the airports you want, etc. Assuming you already have a computer and graphics card, you're probably going to be in it for at least $800 for it to really get looking very nice, kind of at the same quality that I'm showing you right here. I'm well over 1,000, mainly because of airports. Um, as you see, it's just telling me new weather, wind 0 at 0 knots, which is beautiful. So this is a pretty smooth flight. So I'm going to actually slow down that vertical speed because I don't want to lose too much speed. I'm going to pick it up just a little bit. We're going to go, I think we're just going to go all the way up to our cruising altitude. And we shouldn't have any issues because there's no wind. You have to love this. So once we get up to cruising altitude, we'll be able to do a little bit more, close this window up, a little bit more on the landing sequences. The Active Sky program will tell me the likely runways in use. I flight planned for runway. I think I flight planned for runway 30 in Miami, but we'll see. If they give you runway 30, that's always a fun thing. But this is the part that I love, is that what I love about flight sims is that you can actually do other things while you are simming. Not that you should be distracted as a pilot, but if you do like I do, sometimes you get busy at work and you need to bring some work home, and you can get up in the air after loading your plane, and assuming the weather's not too tricky and you have a nice day like today, you can get up there and actually just kind of just relax, zone out, get some work done. It is a lot of fun. And usually at this time there'd be a bunch of additional checks that the co-pilot would be doing really after we hit 10,000 feet. But as you know, that software's not working because of the mic. It needs a mic. It assumes that you're using the mic to talk to the co-pilot, not streaming. So as a result, it's a little trickier. With that being said, it's still good. Sorry about that. I want to make sure the stream was still good and active. And this is really just, I love this. This part here is just amazing. And then there's other views here. I mean, the nearest tower, I don't like that. Runway, you can see other aircraft. Sorry, air traffic, excuse me. You can see, just give you an example. Let's see who we want. Commercial jet. Let's see. These are, oh, we have a, hold on, there's a flight. There appears to be a flight in our area. Don't see him. Up there he is up there. Yeah. There you go. You can see he just crossed me. As I was talking to air traffic control, I wanted to make sure I saw that flight. We weren't really in any danger of colliding, but another simmer out there. Or it could be a computer generated flight path. We are still at the Jacksonville tower area. So we are still got some nice views here. Gonna go, and we are crossing 30,000 feet. Just checking on my airspeed, which looks really good right now. Means that we might be able to make up some of this time in the air. I think we have original flight time is about an hour 30. I think we're gonna hopefully do a little bit faster depending on landing sequences. We didn't have a long takeoff. Unfortunately, computer gave us a heavy load today, so it is what it is. Some days you get 50 passengers, some days you get 130. We had 130 today, so, or as they say in the airline world, 130 souls, which I do like. I am actually just checking around, making sure since the co-pilot didn't do the checks, I've got to make sure some checks, and make sure some things are looking well here, and making sure we're getting ready for our cruising altitude. And once we get there, you guys should see some pretty good views of the ocean and of this. So it's pretty nice once we get over that way. I'm going to put us in a better view mode so you all can take a look at the. And I'll just kind of pan around every now and then and just kind of give you a different view, just so you can take it in. Hopefully consider. Now, the flight package also comes with different wrappers for your aircraft, so you can use it. You could be an American airline flight or United, Continental, whatever you want, or even Air Australia, Air New Zealand, whatever you want. So there's different wrappers that come with this flight. We've got some traffic. Hold on one second to make sure I can see it. Hold on. I don't see the traffic. There he goes. He's back there. There he is. So we're going to report that we do have a traffic in sight. And we'll continue. We'll do a little front view for a while here. That's going to take going to see that beautiful, stunning visuals right there. And again, I apologize. I know some of you all have left some comments. I've tried to answer some of them tonight. One thing about the flight sim programs, it makes it very, very challenging. Very, very challenging to fly and comment at the same time. So I apologize if I apologize in advance if I have missed any of your comments. We're going to try to get to some of them right now. I think some MGC gamers have joined us. And I appreciate them taking the time out. And we know we have Sean Dempsey. I think he popped on. I'm not sure if he's still on or not. Sean, one of the founding members of MGC, my game concierge. Great guy. Another hardcore gamer. He was making fun of me. He said apparently I did not take off fast enough for him. So I'm just laughing about that. But we don't rush takeoff, Sean, just to let you know, and in Sim World. MGC gamer Donnell Haynes told me I forgot to remind the passengers to buckle, but actually the computer stewardesses do that. I was probably talking where you all could not hear that. So I had to laugh there. And I'm certainly keeping my eyes on the sky here. And I'm getting teased by saying I have a captain's voice. I appreciate that. It is, again, not quite above that cloud cover, but enough to just not have any turbulence, so which is really good. Passengers do appreciate that, as you can imagine. And so someone asked, why do I get, well, how did I get into streaming and keep my eyes on the sky? I got into streaming because again, I flew a lot, I had some bad flights, turbulence, and I kind of wanted to know what was going on, and it always bothered me that cockpit door was locked and I couldn't see what the pilots were doing. And so as a result, I decided to kind of learn a little bit more about flight simming, and really took the time to the Boeing 737 because of the fact that most of us fly. It's probably the most used commercial aircraft out there today. And as a result, if you know a lot about the Boeing 737, you're more likely to get that, as well as the Airbus 3, I think it's A320. Um, Both of those aircrafts are really good for simmers. Just go ahead and make sure nothing. But if you look at this dial down here, hopefully you can see my cursor at the bottom center of the screen. A little bit of turbulence. You see that's showing just a little bit. Nothing to really get ourselves too exercised over. Just probably coming over a little bit of some clouds. We hit our top of the climb a little earlier than expected. Just double check that. Or maybe not. So this is the point where we inform everyone they could kind of relax. I'm gonna announce here. We've hit our cruising altitude. You'll hear the announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, we've reached our cruise altitude and expect a good flight for today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your flight. Thank you.
There we go. And seatbelts are on auto, so they should be able to, passengers can get up and get around. We're still in the Jacksonville Tower area. And we're just acknowledging that. Now, this is the part that I like, is we get ready to go for the landing. We're not quite ready to land yet. If you may recall, this has us kind of in let me just show you guys the flight system, the flight computer. Just widen out so people can see it. So we're going to these waypoints now, 24 miles next to SAV, then Milibino and Ormond Beach, I think it is. So about, as you can tell, about, what was that, 50, that's about 70 miles, probably about 160 miles out from this waypoint here. But that doesn't tell my plane to go to Miami. So as a result, we still have to put in a path to get to Miami. So what we do here, the computer is essentially saying, hey, how do you want to come into Miami after you hit this final waypoint? So we click this button, departure arrival. We say arrive into Miami. And we believe we're going to hit into, let me see here, actually, it's saying RNAV 30, which I don't want to do. We want to do an ILS. Hopefully, we're going to set this up to come into runway. We want to do an ILS approach because an ILS approach will basically have the computer lock in and give us that landing. So what we're going to do is we're going to hope the computer will give us ILS 27. And then what we'll do is Annie's 1. I know that will take us there. Transition at OMN. And this pretty much will fix that problem. And now when I go ahead and click our route, you see it's now put in the remaining distance for us to come in for approach and landing. And I just have to kind of clean this up. And then, so now you have a complete full flight path. So if I go here towards my, just gonna show you all something really fast that you can essentially plan your flight. I'm just gonna get out of it. So with this, if I go here, this is my flight path, and I can hit a button that says plan. And so I can actually go to every single data point here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, there's a plane right in front of us. As you can see out my window right there, it's letting me know that yellow. He's gonna come pretty close. Wow, he's gonna come real close. Usually that would never happen. As you saw, that was real fast. Usually you have enough spacing. That would not happen in the real life. You can see I'm actually getting a little bit of his. Caught in his jet stream a little bit, but that wasn't too bad. Sorry about that. Sorry. It's always something with simming that goes on that you have to make sure. See the beautiful water right there? It's a gorgeous flight. So we'll get to the water views in a minute. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. You can plan and you can kind of see the route that you're going to be taking in. So I'm on plan mode, and then once you're in plan mode, you can come out and see the routes, and it's going to walk you step by step right there and towards. And for me, I guess maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to see the way that it's going to want me to come into the landing. So hit Annie, and it's going to be straight. And then this, where down this, it gets all confusing. It looks like it's going to want me to loop around, come in, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'll say, so from Canes down to VKZ, right here, it wants you to spin, probably slow down a little bit, spin, and come back into the landing. So probably at Sarco, S-A-R-K-C-O, the localizer is going to catch us right here and bring us in. So that's what, so essentially, for my purposes, I know I need to be under 3,000, and I have to look at some detailed maps to make sure that I have the correct localizer settings to come into runway 27 and land. And I'll be putting in some settings in the computers in a minute just to make sure that I am lined up for 27. That's assuming that the computer will give me 27 and not make me do another unconventional landing that I don't want to do. So I'm going to allow you guys to look at this awesome view off the coast of Florida. Again, cloudy day, but still you can get a good idea of how detailed that view is coming in. Hopefully that'll kind of give you an idea of how nice that view is. It's probably about as good as we can go here. But some of the programs you have will you can see the beach actually right down there. You can see sometimes you get this weird texturing here where the water and it's like land here. Sometimes you get kind of that little glitch because again there's probably conflict between the vectoring program and the native program. So one program showing beach, the other program showing land. Doesn't happen too often, but probably something that needs to be addressed. Still at Jacksonville Center. Still not in the Miami area yet. But we are making some good time. Enjoying. So again, gorgeous views. And out this out of the cockpit. You can actually take a view out of the co-pilot seat if you want. The co-pilot sees. Not as sunny as some of our other flights, but not too bad. Not too bad. I don't like the co-pilot seat because I think it messes me up. So I'm going to begin the process of coding the computer down to get us ready for landing. Because we're now up at cruising altitude and we still have a little ways to go, but I just want to make sure we're all set up in case I decide to take some shortcuts. So first thing we're going to do is press this button here. It's going to tell us that our course setting has to be to pick up that localizer on runway 27. Our course setting needs to be at 272. So when we hit Sarco, the computer and the plane start talking to each other, picks up that localizer, and says run course 272, which will properly predict the glide slope and the rate of descent. So all we'll really be doing at that point is to control the speed of the aircraft, which is easier said than done. So I have much respect for pilots, and you'll see what I'm saying if you guys hang with us till landing. Now we have the flight computer. We've got to go down and we set the localizer setting, which is 109.5. We make that as active, and we always put this in the co-pilot just in case as a backup. 109.5. So we essentially have told the computer that we want course 272 local at ILS 109.5. And generally speaking, we're flying high enough we're not going to pick up. Some other localizers have that same setting, but we're flying high enough where we're not going to pick it up. So that shouldn't be a problem. We're going to do a flaps 30 landing at 156 knots. So that's what we're going to do. So the computer knows exactly our speed, and we know our speed. So remember that 156 and flaps will be 30. So essentially, this will be down to 30, and our speed up here will be at 156. We're at 256 right now. I am going to turn this on VNAV, by the way, because I want the computer to just have us fly the way we want. No, very stress-free flight here. See no turbulence, which is good. See where we are. So we're about 80 miles outside of 30 miles to Beano, then about 80 miles from Ormond Beach, and we should be looking good here. Look at, and I'm sorry I deprived you all of that gorgeous view. And if you want, you could even stay in this view setting. Sometimes it's just kind of a pain to pull up your instrument panels, but sometimes you can do that and you can pull up your instrument panels this way and stay in this just for a minute and just shrink everything down. There we go. Just put that right there. Then select another instrument. I want the slower left. There's my flight computer. Again, we can just minimize, shrink it down in size so you can stay in this view mode. A little difficult reading, I know, for you all, but I can still see it. I just want you all to be able to enjoy the view. Kind of rotate back to see. There's not much, but off the coast of Florida again, as we get en route to Miami. It looks like the weather still is about the same. About 15 miles outside of Beano, and then we won't start our descent probably for another 20 minutes or so. Then we're gonna go down to 31,000, 21,500. start working our way back down. There's a lot of short little paths and distances here where you may say, oh my god, we got a ton. But trust me, it goes real fast when you are trying to get a plane down from 35,000 feet down to about 3,000. See over here, there's an airport over here in this corner over here. See on your bottom right, probably a little small commercial airport. Right there. And I'm on Sky Vector now. You all are still seeing the screen. I'm on Sky Vector. Taking a look at. Sorry, you guys lost sound just for a couple seconds here. I just have to pull up the map for Miami International, and then you guys will get sound back again. There you go. It's still making me do that. So hopefully, I just need to get the runways 27. There we go. So now I can just hover over my screen. Sorry about that. So the runway 27 is actually 13. It's pretty long, 13,000 feet. Elevation is 7.4. So we are going to be landing pretty low to sea level. So go back in here, go back on our onboard systems and program our landing so our computer knows how to land. So that's telling us the length is, let's say, 13,000 feet. Elevation is only, let's see, less than 8. So it's telling me it's a pretty low. I'm going to double check that. That's a really low. That is a really low elevation. Yeah, elevation is 7.4, so that's really low. So we'll go back in and put in 8. So that's gonna, I think it's gonna be pretty low to the ground, that elevation. Our heading would be, I believe our heading on this particular one is 272 or 267. Oh, wait. Just realized that there was a difference. The elevation for this runway actually is 8.4. 8.4. So we're going to have to go back in here and change that to elevation is 9. Okay. And while I'm doing the boring stuff, I'll give you guys with a nicer view. Look at that cloud right there. It's like a little storm cloud. Gorgeous. Little storm cloud. Hope our visibility gets better coming into Miami. Looking at just checking out my runway status here. So sorry if I'm in and out for a second, just to make sure I programmed the computer correctly. 272, 267. So let's go back in here. Our heading will be 272. Alright, we're still in the Jacksonville tower space. And we're landing, probably my guess reaction is, for those of you who want to know, we're probably landing within the next 30 minutes. Assuming it all goes well, no traffic or anything. It will be worth the wait. For those of you who have taking the time and been with us since about 8:20, 8:30 tonight. So sorry about the little longer stream tonight. Again, it's hard to find a really short flight. Um, in the future, hopefully we can do a little shorter one. Maybe Boston to Boston to New York is really short. Boston to Philly is a short one. Boston to Montreal is also short as well. But this one I think had the best views, and wanted to make sure that people really, those of you who are not familiar with flight sims, understand why we do it. And you can take with the flight sims, of course, you can take pictures of that, and that can be your screensaver. And like if I was flying through that cloud right there, I'd make a perfect photo right there, and you could enhance it. Really makes it looks really good. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous flight. And we are tempted. We could always go up a little bit to kind of gain a little bit more time. Definitely tempted to do that. Kind of kick it up to 36,000. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can go up to 36,000 feet. Just to get us a little bit. As long as we're not getting any turbulence. We've got wind zeros at 0, so I'm just going to go up to about 36.5. See if we can kind of cut some of this time down. Let's see here, things. Air's real thin up, obviously at these levels. Maybe get a little better view at 36,000 feet. This is not our fuel efficiency level, just to let you know. Just looking at my fuel numbers, I don't understand why those tanks look kind of low. It should be okay. It's not. Let's see here, VNAV. There we go. Just trying to make sure that we are. We went up to about 36,000. And that's the view at 36. Wow, it's a much better view actually. It is a much, much better view. It is looking good. Crossing over the back into the main part of Florida, looking, like I said, we're off the coast for most of the flight, getting ready to get back into our positioning for landing. Just give you guys a moment to enjoy that. Just so we can see what we're doing. See where we are. Yeah, we are gaining a lot of yeah, we are saving some time by picking it up a little bit. Don't want to get these clouds ahead. Trying to make sure we're not gonna get any issues with those clouds. It is Florida, as you know, the summer squalls. They are in this game. Or I should say this simulation. People hate to call Sims games because they are used for training purposes and certainly not a game when you're learning to fly, and particularly taking care of commercial passengers, or any passengers for that matter. So we are about 6 miles from OMN, which was again our final waypoint. The rest of the waypoints are telling us our designated star, our arrival route into Miami International Airport. And so you'll see. Go here. That's not me kicking that plane over on that route. That's getting us ready to come in and head over to MLB. Keep us going down and transitioning. So we are almost going to be getting ready to descend. Like I said, we are pretty much set up to land. The landing sequence, probably about 150 miles outside of Miami Airport. Maybe a little bit more, not, give or take a little bit, probably about 150 nautical miles outside of the airport, which should not take us too much longer as we kind of get lined up here. Hopefully everything will work in line for what we wanted to do. We're going to get ready to get set up to start our descent in a few seconds. We don't want to descend too early because again they'll just slow us down. Just give you guys an idea of where we are. There we go. Turbulence levels see still pretty non-existent, which is good. See a little bit of fluttering, but nothing major that's going to require our intervention, which is good. Close that up, sorry. Don't do that. And then it's always a little bit of turbulence you get. There we go. Coming out. There we go, that's what I want. I want to show you all, as soon as I get this window out of the way, the beautiful clouds that are coming up on the left side on the right side of the screen, excuse me. Again, enjoying this game with a nice mango margarita. Not that you should be flying, but that is a drink that we are doing tonight. Mango margarita. It is actually delicious. There are those who like salted rims. I'm a sugared rim type of guy. Not that I like all my drinks sweet, but I just think the salt and mango is not that good. Not that good. Anyways, you see the clouds coming in. That lets you know that we're probably getting back over the coast more. As you can tell, we're getting over, and you can see a little bit of storm clouds or not too great weather systems going on over there. So we are just going to keep plugging away as we are getting very close to the point where we need to be considering coming down to 31,000. We're 50 miles outside of MLB. Then our descent should be starting probably the next few minutes here. There we go. We are now just been picked up by the Miami Tower. We are now tuning into Miami Center. Let's hope we got some good weather coming up. Can't tell. It looks like it's fine. It's just that haze and cloudiness. So but still give me 0 wind and 0 knots. So I'm hoping everything's okay. Hoping it gives me runway 27 is what I want. Let's see here. We are making up some serious ground here. As we proceed into Miami International Airport. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit quiet because I'm just getting more commands, just making sure air traffic control is, we're all lined up for what I hope will be a nice smooth landing. And you all could, as you prepare to end your the stream this evening, I will probably land and then I'm going to go ahead and get it to the gate and end the stream, but certainly and I will end up doing the standard procedures to shut the plane off and all that good stuff. Why, you may ask? Because that's what you do. You do it the right way. I want to also thank the MGC gamers who joined tonight, as well as all of those who are watching on streams on either Mixer, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Thanks for joining us tonight. Like I said, the stream lasted a little bit longer tonight than expected. We had a heavier load. We were supposed to get off probably about 20 minutes earlier, or 30 minutes earlier than anticipated, but the computer gave us a heavier flight load. So, unfortunately, with the GSX program, unless you can leave a comment box, I don't know if you can necessarily. I don't think there's a way you can stop the stream from going. Maybe I'm not right about that, but stop the boarding process, I should say. I don't believe you can once you do it. All right, we are going to take the last few views here, soak it all in as we are getting ready to prepare this cockpit for arrival. It's looking well. We're gonna set this up even, we're a little higher than normal, so we're gonna have to start our descent a little earlier than normal. 31.9. The computer's essentially telling us, and I'm going to zoom in here, that we should be starting, that TD means to beginning your descent. It's telling us we should start there to get to be kind of on track. We're going to start it probably a little bit, we're going to probably start in 20 nautical miles, a little bit early because we want to basically knock off. Again, we're coming from a higher level. We were programmed to be at 35,000 feet. We're at 36. I don't believe the computer updates. I think it's still putting us on our flight plan. And it's giving us numbers based on that. But that being said, looking outside the nose of the aircraft, out the front cockpit. This little visor here, some people use it. I don't really like it. Gives you kind of some cool, if I can scroll over, gives you some cool information. Guess I'm old school. You can see where you're lining up on the runway, all that good stuff. Might use it coming in. Doubtfuls, gives you speed, all that good stuff, altitude. Just kind of gives you kind of some reference points as you see kind of the whole picture there. Kind of pretty much when everything's on this display down here, it's giving you there. Telling you to line up for an ILS landing, heading, course. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat tool. And put this heading back to 00 because that heading is probably wrong. That was from takeoff. And we're going to tell our passengers that we're at top of the descent right now. They need to get ready to come on in. Uh-oh. this window. Let's see here. Somehow I stretched that menu a little too much. Fix it. Alright, there we go. Move this out of the way. Get our PA system up.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, we'll begin our descent to your destination here in just a moment. On behalf of the flight crew and staff, I wanted to thank you for
We are
flying with us
beginning our
today.
descent.
Hope that you choose
Visor
us for
up.
your flying needs in the future. Thank you.
And the key thing here is watching your airspeed. We are coming down. You kind of want to make sure your speed stays in a range where you want it to stay. And the reason being is because if you go too fast, once you start getting into the landing sequence, it's really hard to find opportunities to slow yourself down. And that's why you kind of do things a little bit earlier to kind of give yourself a little bit more time. And just, again, trying to make sure. Alright, so it's telling us winds at 320 at 11 knots, so we might bump a little bit. So it's telling us it's a little windy as we get closer to the surface, so hopefully it won't impact our landing too much, but keep an eye on it. See, we're coming down. We're now down under 35,000 feet, heading down to 31.9. And we are not descending fast enough, so the computer really wants us to get on down. And so we're going to turn on some of our speed brakes here to keep us down, because actually it wants us down at 20. By PHORD, it wants us down. I think it says that's 24.6. Let's double check that. Once it's down to 24,000 feet, so we are already off. As you see. Of course, there's always challenges as we are. Just want to give you guys one final couple views coming in on the landing. So I'll try to be good and focus on that. I'm a little concerned that it wants us to be down. As I told you guys earlier. But PBI wants to be at 15,000. So my goal is we won't make that first checkpoint. First, we won't make it at that first waypoint, but by PBI, we should be there. And I'm watching my speed, so we're going to slow down this a little bit. Good news, we're not taking turbulence on right now. Let's give you guys a view of the aircraft right over wing. See those speed brakes are up. Get a view out of the left side of the aircraft. You can actually put this with chase plane. You can actually see a little bit. flyby for you. That never gets old. That never gets old. We are going way. See, we're already at 282 knots, so we're gonna have to really put these speed brakes on. We are coming down way too fast. I'd like to again thank all you all for streaming tonight and joining us. Like I said, it's a very long stream tonight. Sorry about that. Was not expecting to stream this evening. One of our gamers unfortunately had a emergency, so hopefully all is well with her and her family. But as a result of that, I had to adjust my plans. I was already preparing to take off for this particular flight, so decided to make this part of the stream. And we are already down to under 20, almost about to be under 25,000 feet. And this is going to be a challenge. They want to slow us down, and we are coming down at a velocity pretty fast, as you all can see. And I'm going to expand this menu over here, and at some point, one of the kind of interesting, now we're hitting those 11 knots because we're getting closer. I'm going to make sure that my speed brakes are maxed out. Now, let's do it. Let's see what they're going to do now. Got a couple. About 25 miles. And that's how gorgeous. We are pretty. Just, I think the view speaks for itself. Gorgeous day. Must have been in Miami. This is obviously giving us real-time data, so it's probably a gorgeous day in Miami today. I'm going to try to slow us down a little bit. Sometimes I can put on a flap here. Like that. Some issues there. Looks like we are at least going to be on target for the next waypoint. Things are kind of jumbled here. Let you guys get a good view out the window here. Clouds. Or just buildings out there. Currently I'm worried about my speed. It's at 289. I really want to get down to... Okay, perfect. So I can slow down. All right, now we can. Good. That speed's dropping down, as you can tell, because I've reduced my rate of descent. Obviously, geometry. That's good. Okay. Now, in this program, what's bad is that you kind of have to get lined up and look for the airport, which not as easy said as it looks. Not as easy as it looks. Um, for some reason, when you come to a city, the density is so there's so many airports, like small commercial or small general aviation airports, that it's kind of a pain to find your airport. Now I'm going to drop my speed down to 240. Actually, going to keep it at 245. How far do I have to go? There we go. We are doing actually very well. We are back on course. Slowed the plane down significantly because we are not too far off from landing. That's Sarko, remember, that's where we're going to be. A lot of things are going to start lighting up as we get closer to Sarko. We're going to go ahead and check our 109.5. 109.5. Our course is at 272. We're looking good. Fort Lauderdale Executive. We got all the airports but the one we want. So I'm going to try to hang out at around 244 knots. We'll eventually slow the plane down a little bit more. We're getting ready to get down to about 10,000 feet. Give you guys a quick shot while I can. It's coming up. Getting ready to line up for approach to Miami. Might pull up an additional view from outside. Just have to close it up sometimes. Just for you all who want to kind of see what the plane's looking like from the outside as we land. Rarely do I fly this way, but I want to make sure you guys, it's there for those of you who kind of want to get that outside view. Miami still has not shown up on the airport list. And it's such a pain when that happens. We are going to need to be at 10,009, so we're going to eventually drop down to 5,000. So I'm just going to bring us right down to 5,000. And start slowing us down. Again, right now I'm managing speed. Usually when we come in, we're going to see some cruise ships and some other things. And hopefully we don't have to go pick another airport. Pick another runway, I should say, not another airport. It's just very irritating, as I said earlier. The water looks great though. That water program really is amazing. It's Rex textures, giving you kind of a gorgeous view of the Atlantic. Come in on approach. And some fun stuff. Looks like wind's at 11 knots still, so it might be a little bit of a fun landing. Good turn in here. Some Plaza style. So we're going to go down about 3,700 feet. Good visibility, as you can tell. There we go. Well, let's see if it's going to play nice with this contacting Miami Tower right now. Requesting a full stop landing. Let's see, they want us to do 26 right. Let's see if they'll give us 27. Nice. So we have just been authorized to land at runway 27 in Miami. Which is a lot. So essentially we're going to be trying to slow our speed down a little bit here. Once we get to, we'll have about 13, probably about 16 miles to slow ourselves down. Look and see Miami on the horizon there. Usually you see some cruise ships. Hopefully the weather will allow us to see that. We're still maxed out on speed. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to be talking a little bit less here because we're going to have to get ourselves ready. We're going to take her down to 3,000 and hold our altitude there and then drop some speed preferably pretty rapidly. About 11 miles out, which should be enough time. Alright, we're dropping speed now. Have to watch that speed. Gear is down. Stay at 183. We're about to do our curve. We're coming in on final. Our landing speed is 156, remember? Let's light it up, landing. There you go. If you guys want to know what this looks like. We are turning in. Though I own the Miami airport, you can tell the textures still aren't the best there. The airport looks nice, but not the, I don't think they went out that far. We're going to close this window up. That way we can kind of have the entire view that we need to. And we've got picked up by the localizer. That's what that single CH means right there. We're picked up by the localizer.
Radio altimeter.
are on the localizer. Again, I want to thank all of you all for being a part of this today. We are cleared to land. We're about 5 miles out. Again, watching speed, making sure speed isn't going to be an issue. We're coming in a little too hot. I'm going to put a little bit of spray brakes on. We're 1,000 feet out.
Approaching 27.
Got some wind. Engines on idle.
Terrain. 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
That was a... Get back on the runway. Like a crosswind right at the last second. Whew. That was not the best landing. There we go. Whew. Thank you all for joining in. That was quite the interesting landing. Spin out here. And again, really want to thank everybody for taking time. Sorry that stream lasted a little longer, but we are on, we've cleared the runway at Miami. Let's stop right here, just so you all can know. And thank you all for taking time out tonight. Hopefully you like this video. If you enjoy it, I'm going to close this one up so we can focus on the main window. If you like this video, hopefully you give us a like and follow us on Facebook, YouTube. This has been TreasFlowers, my game concierge, playing a little prepared 3D, excuse me, Lockheed Martin. Continue to follow us and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch and Mixer channel. Tomorrow we'll probably have MGC Gamer or MGC Mark on as well, doing probably a little Call of Duty, Fortnite, or Battlefield 5. So that will be it for us this evening. Again, thanks so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Take care.